If someone close to you that you work with has shared that they have had thoughts of suicide, suicidal thoughts, then that is a hugely courageous and amazing step that they have taken. They have actually shared that they have had thoughts of suicide with you. You have an opportunity at this point to hear the person's story. Often when someone has shared thoughts of suicide, we try and pull them to safety as quick as possible because we don't want them to have thoughts of suicide. And what we then do is we try to do that as fast as possible. And then we fail to understand how the person has got to that point. Okay, well, what is it about that their journey and their story and their life events that has perhaps made suicide an option? And by hearing the person's story at that point, we give ourselves an ability to actually lower the person's anxiety by being listened to and heard. If there is an immediate risk to life, so someone is actually showing suicidal behavior, so they are planning or about to act upon those thoughts, then of course this is a different process that we will then have to go to. And there are professional support services through the 999 in the UK and emergency support numbers across the world, and charities such as Calm in the UK that can be accessed for support. But if someone has shared that, yeah, I've had thoughts of suicide, it is for us not to panic, to acknowledge that they have shared that with us and be in the moment with them. Hear the person out. Try not to guilt trip them or try and change their mind onto all the amazing things that they might have in their life. Because often there's a misconception around suicide that people just want to die. There is no way that we can change someone's mind. But actually suicide is not necessarily always about wanting to die, but it's not about not wanting to live with the pain that they currently experience at this moment in time. And talking can be a way of alleviating some of that pain by having someone who's actually listening to you, because maybe they've never shared that before. So what you have is just an amazing opportunity to just listen. And in that process, hopefully you can create an opportunity to create a safety plan with that person. Okay, well, if you have thoughts of suicide again, well, here's like a framework and an action plan that we can build together. So the person feels as if they have someone around them, also sharing the important professional supports that are available to that person. And often when, let's say, someone is showing many of the concerning signs around suicide, and in your mind or your gut you're thinking, that's not right, that's something's not right here. Often we don't ask, when you said that, did you mean suicide? Because we think that it might give the person thoughts they didn't already have. This is a myth. Evidence of research actually suggests that talking about suicide directly and clearly can often open up a greater conversation that can actually guide the person to support. But we need training, we need education to learn how to do this, because it's potentially life-saving, but it's a skill that often we haven't thought about in our generation. How do we talk about this taboo subject? It's taboo for a reason, because we haven't spoken about it. And anything that hasn't been spoken about becomes harder and harder and harder in time. And often until it's thrown in our face and our front doors, then we learn about it. But actually, how about we all learn about it as a preventative step, and we can actually change the world and actually save people's lives. There's no exaggeration in any of that. So being in the moment, taking the time, but also knowing that actually this is a big step for that person to take. And we need training and education to be able to do this in the best of our ability, because it's a difficult thing to do.